on Liberia. Hit it. From Cape Mount to Cape Palmo, Mount Nimba to Atlantic Ocean, Obomi Hills to Quejue, to educate, elevate, and promote. Yeah, focus on Liberia. For Liberia, Liberia. For Liberia, yeah, 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 yeah. From Monday to Sunday. From Monday to Sunday. It's focus on Liberia. Talk about home affairs. Hey. In diaspora. Current affairs. Reliable information. History. Talking about culture. Politics. Education. Entertainment. Business. Sports. Advertisement. Articulation. Focus on Liberia. Focus on Liberia. Focus on Liberia. From Monday to Sunday.
At Focus on Liberia, we discuss everything Liberia, from education to politics, arts and culture, entertainment, agriculture, history, religion, family, and technology. Focus on Liberia uncovers and showcases the best of Liberia and shows the world the truth about Liberia. We educate, elevate, and promote all things Liberia. We conduct interviews, panel discussions, debates, and more. Tune in to Focus on Liberia on Facebook and YouTube and be a part of the stories that make up the news.
This is Focus on Liberia, and I am Dennis Jah.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this edition of Between the Headlines on Focus on Liberia. My name is Dennis Jah, and we are broadcasting from Atlanta, Georgia. In this edition, a very special edition of Between the Headlines, we are honored to have Honorable Samson Quejue Wiah, that's the representative of District Number 2 in Sinoe County. That's my home county, and that's my district. Honorable Wiah, welcome to Focus on Liberia.
Thank you, Mr. Jah, and it's a pleasure being with you in studio. My first appearance on your platform. Yes, I'm delighted, grateful to be on your platform.
Thank you very much. This is your first time, as you said, first time on the platform. So in a special way, we want to give you a bottle of water and say, feel at home, welcome, and thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you.
We also want to welcome all our viewers from across the globe. If you have not done so already, share the show, invite a friend, and let's talk to our lawmaker from my home county, Sinoe County. Let me say welcome and congratulations on your re-election as a representative for our district. I know 2021, your first election, that was tough. It went to the Supreme Court. You were finally certificated in, I think, February of 2021. Congratulations. This time it's kind of a little easier.
Yeah, that was actually April of 2021. That election was held on the 8th of December in 2020. So we had like 5 months in court, and the Supreme Court, of course, had a final opinion that declared us winner, and we saw ourselves being inducted around the 13th of April.
Yeah.
That same 2021, and we still see ourselves in the legislature.
Thank you. And let me mention that you kind of replaced our fallen comrade and brother Jay Nambislo, and that was a big shoe to fill. How is it now?
Well, again, before getting to that, let me not just forget. Today is
Hmm. We are having some trouble with the connection there.
the the God and protect him.
All right. Well,
So
we lost you a little,
assuming
we lost you a little bit. There was a problem with your connection, so I didn't hear what you said. Can you repeat, please?
yes, there was an obstruction. There's a call that tried coming in.
Oh, okay.
Most time if that happens, then the internet will go off because it's a GSM obstruction of the internet. So I
Oh,
was
okay.
like
So
trying to explain birthday greetings
if you put your phone on do not
to,
disturb, then the calls will not come in.
pardon me.
If you put your phone on do not disturb, the calls will not bother you.
Oh, okay, okay.
But
Uh,
but go ahead. Do you expect to get more calls?
most time is this time most time, but let's give it a try and see.
Okay. If that continues to happen, you put your phone on do not disturb, and then the call's not going to
Okay,
bother you.
okay,
All right.
yeah. So I was extending birthday greetings to His Excellency Jeremiah Bankun, who is celebrating his 46th birthday today. A son of Jirepu, a son of Sinoe, a son of Nimba, the Vice President of the Republic of Liberia. Wishing him well in his new office and his political sojourn. All right, and then let's get back to where
Yeah.
we were
No.
being
No.
asked to get
Thank you.
started.
So the vice president and you are the father is from your district. So I see why the connection.
We are crisis.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. So let's get to the meat of the discussion. Again, we are grateful to all of our supporters. We are very grateful to the people of District Number 2, the people of Dube River, the people of Jrei, and the people of Jrepo. We also believe that we saw ourselves coming into this office through the collective effort of the people across the 3 statutory districts within District Number 2. Uh, they saw this vision being a vision that they needed to follow when we lost a great son of our district, J. Namisla, then representative of the district. They collectively unanimously decided that Samson is someone who served the county. His work in the health sector brought a lot of changes, and it's about time that we can invite him to come and take over the district. Why it's true, around that time I was in a very prestigious office, serving as the deputy program manager for immunization at the Ministry of Health. I had to yield to the call of my people. Uh, the call of the people was something that we took very serious. My family and myself, my wife and myself decided to accept the call, and we decided going to get it tested. Uh, Silly, because that call was abrupt and my focus was not in the direction of politics, I saw myself going into a race without running campaign. I saw myself winning election with 29 votes.
Wow.
Yeah, and I want to believe the 2 years, 8 months of service uh, took peace to our people. It took peace everywhere across Sinoe. The disintegrated caucus back then got more integrated and more united and more reconciled and more focused on the job of the people of Sinoe. That was a very great achievement we saw ourselves contributing to collectively. We also saw ourselves taking sons and daughters who had graduated some 4 5 years ago and now having hope of obtaining tertiary education. We saw ourselves bringing them, some of them to Morovia, and not just paying school fees, but also giving them place to live.
Wow.
And today, the testimony from most of them is that about next year they should be graduating from some of the universities, the UMU, the AMEU, and their story is we never thought such could happen, but it's because of your excellency as the leader of our district. This is why we'll be pronounced bachelor degree holders
Hmm.
as of 2025. And I'm so grateful that we could also contribute immensely to the tuition fee of others who were already schooling and dropped from school. We did everything for them to return, and some of them graduated already. So most time I sit and say, well, maybe there is a calling, and since we are here, let's develop leaders. So our focus has been on investing in the young people, giving them urban exposure, giving them tertiary education exposure, uh, sitting with them and providing them mentorship that can adequately prepare them to succeed us tomorrow.
Yeah. Thank you. So how is district number two? And when I say district number two, I'm talking about Jiripo, Jiri, and Dubai. How are the people doing?
So your district, it's good that you are asking about your district and our district.
Yeah.
Uh, your district is one of the most challenged districts within the Republic of Liberia,
Hmm.
ranging from uh, inaccessibility. Our people still access communities by footpath. Motorbikes cannot even enter over 40% of our communities.
Wow.
Is a major one. Road connectivity is the major one. We also have very major issues surrounding the educational system. You will barely see the infrastructure, but you will hear that students and there are teachers, of course, but you will realize that the full package that encompasses what you call education to villagers is lacking because instructional material will be lacking, the infrastructure will be lacking. Maybe you will have one C who is available and he's the only person teaching from primary to the elementary sixth grade, and there will be others who are maybe high school dropouts that will be assisting. So education is also a major challenge.
Hmm.
You also have major challenge with the health sector, which is a bit better compared to the education sector.
Before
because
we go to the health, what is causing these challenges, let's say, for education? Why is it so?
well, I think it comes from different background. I know the, there was a major challenge in the health sector when I joined the health team in 2007, and I also know how I had sleepless night uh, writing proposals. Uh, the European Union, the World Bank, UNICEF, WHO, the OMIO, quick impact, and that how we transform most of the infrastructures around Sinoe. So sometimes it's about leadership. Okay, sometimes it's about leadership, and most time it's about the willingness also from the people to embrace whatever project that is coming to them. But in the case of Sinoe, I often say it's about leadership because, take for instance, the county always been there, and there were things that we needed to do as a county, and the sectors were not moving at the same pace. Today in Sinoe, the health sector is far ahead of the education sector, which is just the reality. And I believe it was because of the people who were in charge of the health sector at the time that what got it to where it is. Now the education sector, we hope that they can have opportunity to have leaders who can bring some innovation to the table. It starts with the Ministry of Health. It also has to do with the very legislators. All right. Take for instance, I'm paying children's school fees in some part of the district. The 12th graders in the high school in Kakepo, I decided dressing them, so I was responsible for their uniform. There's a school in government camp. I had to do construction work there in the 2 years, 8 months, and we could not complete it. We also did a major rehabilitation of another school in the area called Siton Joai. So the challenge is just everywhere. And if you just do a random sampling, a scan of the entire district, you will agree that in Jrei, almost everywhere there is no infrastructure. You will also agree that in Jrepo, you only see improved infrastructure in two locations, Sebweken and Dodweken. And then it's a bit better in Dubai, but there is still a lot more to be done in most of the communities around Dubai. So if you're a lawmaker, you have the work, but you don't have an income that you can take home. Because you take responsibility for these things as well. And through the budget, advocacy through the budget to have these things done. But at times, it's like, yes, the budget will come, but that bureaucracy it takes to get one project approved. Even if the project is approved, you're talking about all 60 communities being affected by the situation. You will still have to take out of pocket to mitigate the situation, to help the situation, to support the situation, to finance the situation.
So, but this is not really, you are taking money out of your pocket. It's really not your responsibility, I would say. Are we saying that government has neglected the area?
Again, we should also agree that if we want to say government neglected the area, then we want to blame on the government of the past. I know that we went to war, but one of the questions I often ask is, why is true we went to war and Liberia got damaged? Yeah, we don't still see the infrastructure that got damaged in Sinoe. Sinoe started having infrastructures to point out between 2007 to present. Sinoe being a neglected place. My imagination is how ready our people were living over there.
Right.
So there the towns remain the same towns that existed. But you better see why existed, why was made available to our people. So I think Liberia of the past was now good to this generation. So this generation is carrying all of the burden.
Yeah, I went to school in Dodwaken and I graduated. And that time, I mean, the school was up to standard, right? Even though the town was burned down.
So I made mention of Dodwaken. But there was that school in Nikudi, was that school in Wiah, was that school in Boro, was that school in Quejue? No, not at all. Even the school you have in Duke not up to standard. That one currently there is no school there. So I thought about Dodwaken.
Yeah. So now, besides leaders like you taking upon yourself to do these projects, what else is being done by the central government?
Well, I'm also amazed by the central government as we speak. There's a project ongoing in a community called Police Town. They are modernizing one of the schools there. I also know that there is a clinic project ongoing in a community called Quejue. Like I said, right? This is everywhere around the country. So again, central government, there will be a willingness to come in, but the situation is alarming.
Yeah.
And our envelope is so narrow. It's so small. The national purse is so small to the extent that it cannot just look at everything at once.
Right.
And that's the reason for which I even believe if somebody is a president being inducted, yes, it's a good thing to say you have 100 days deliverable. But I would think the 100 days deliverable should often prioritize your cabinets, and then the cabinets, after having them confirmed, it should be the very cabinet that should present to you the deliverable based on the assessment, and you get the ball rolling from that angle.
And we'll come to that national issue. I'm always wondering, has the superintendent of Sinoe been appointed already?
No, not at all.
Right.
We still nominating. The nomination for ministers is still ongoing. Currently, I'm very concerned about the health ministry because they only got a minister. And the minister at the health ministry is not really an authorizing officer. So everything is being stopped.
And we'll come to the national issue. How is the free port of Greenville? Because, I mean, in the 80s when I was in Sinoe, the port was operating. We had companies. But how is the port? Is it operational? I think we have some...
Yeah, that was a call coming in.
Oh, okay. I was asking about the free port of Greenville.
All of those areas don't have leadership for now. We don't have appointment being made in those areas.
I see why the work of a lawmaker, because your work is cut out for you, right? Because of the many challenges, right? So we end up, as a lawmaker, you end up using your own money to do projects. If you don't do those things, you are voted out. How challenging is that?
And that's just it. You must have set some very good example as it relates to doing community service, as it relates to providing some help to the people in the community before you can be sparked for this job. Now, if you are fortunate to be elected, then you must also agree that, well, the job is the people job, and everything about the job is to just put the people first. So it's often the best thing to have people who have adequately self-actualized ascending to this office. It is not an office where you have your constituents coming to you, then you telling them, well, I got my daughter's school fees to pay, or I got my wife hospital bills to pay, or I got my house that is leaking to renovate, or I don't have a living place. I'm looking for a new building, new apartment, or I'm going to buy cement for my foundation, or I'm going to pay school fees because I just entered the university, get my degree before I can talk about your degree. No, you must have adequately self-actualized before going to these offices, because our society will not be like the other society. For us, our people look up to us for everything,
And have you
and that's
normalized
it.
that behavior? Because it's really not your job. So by doing that, are you not normalizing that kind of behavior?
Again, the question is, you don't want to be elected, or you want to be they say that you don't want to be re-elected. Now, that is the reason for which I believe that we should do everything to build leaders. Because the more we build leaders, the more we be able to change the thinking of the people in the society. So we do everything to build leaders. And I'm glad that we got as many young people whose lives we are impacting. They will be in the midst of that crowd, giving them information on what the interaction should be like with their lawmakers. And that's my focus.
Thank you. You already spoke about the caucus. I mean, it's been chaotic. The Sinoe legislative caucus, as far back as I know, they never agree on anything. Sometimes they're expelling each other. How is the caucus now, and what is the caucus up to? Is it a little more cohesive than before?
We have a more united caucus. We have a more peaceful caucus. We have a more integrated caucus. And we have a tax-focused caucus. The caucus of the 55th legislature means so much for the people of Sinoe. And there is a caucus that anybody can rest assured of. This caucus, we see ourselves with a renewed vigor, with a new vision. And every time we meet, our discussion is just about how we can get Sinoe to where it should be. And the different ideas keep coming up. And as we speak, the major discussion before us is how we can have a college that can be in Sinoe, but giving quality education to the young people of Sinoe that they may not even be able to come to Monrovia. So we are in the direction of making sure that the community college that is currently in Sinoe, which is the Sinoe Community College, can be given all of the attention in terms of getting qualified teachers, in terms of having a board that will be more robust, supportive, and in terms of making sure that there is budgetary allocation that can run the school and have it more functional
You
based
talk
on
about
a
college.
quality institution.
To have college, a vibrant college, you must have good high schools feeding that college, right? I know of Sinoe High. I don't know if Parish High is still there. I don't know. So how are the high schools? We started
Yeah.
a high school in Dodwick and it didn't get off the ground.
So
So how
the
are the
high
high
school,
because before you do a college, you must have good high schools. Are the high schools any better?
Yeah. So the high schools are there. We have as many high schools now in Greenville. The Perry High is still there. The Sinoe High is still there. We also have the St. Joseph Catholic, and now we have the Seaver High School. Seaver is now a high school. In our district, we have a high school in Kakepo, which is the Drill Central High. We also have as many high schools in other part of the county. Now, for the high school, you evaluate them most time based on the WISE results. And the WISE results always try to be good for our students in Sino. Uh, the reality is they are studious students. They are people with ambition. They want to see themselves at the top level in society. Though they are very young, they are coming up, but they have ambition. They are not different from some of us, just like the way we have ambition. So they are doing the very best in the WAS. And then the problem is after scoring all of the good grades, after having a successful pass in the WAS, you see those very young people going to the mining field because there is no opportunity to take them out of the county. And as a result of that, you have as many miners, as many motorbike riders in Sino who are high school graduates. And we believe the best way we can connect them with what can make them better is to get the community college to a level that it can prepare them for a better future.
So, as lawmakers, starting with the caucus, what are you, honorable men, doing to make Sino, as you said, what it needs to be? What is being done currently from the legislative standpoint?
Okay. So the first thing we realize that most of our work as legislators, most of our work is being channeled through national budget. So we say, okay, we need the caucus. Uh, Senator Duncan and myself started talking about the road issue. We know that in the 100 days deliverable, the government is talking about road everywhere. But we also started saying, even if the government talking about road everywhere, why can't we now as a caucus get some yellow machines that will be posted in our districts, and then while government focus on major roads, on the smaller roads. So in the next few weeks, Senator Donkey and myself, we intend making some moves out there to bring in some pieces of yellow machine. I will be getting some for District 2. He will be getting some that will be available for the county level. And that's the type of vision we think we can share to get things better in Sino. We also realize that there are concessions uh, that are on ground. We think we need to review some of the agreements that they had in the past because most of them, they've gone more than 5, 6 years. It's about time we should review. And what we're talking about is in some of those concessions, we should be clear on key areas. More taking into consideration scholarship for the young people, water and sanitation facility to the communities, and this issue of road connectivity to enhance movement around the county. So we feel that is something we can do with GVL, which is now the major concession on ground. And I have some meeting with the group called Hummingbird. The last time they make some commitment, and I think they are on course with that. They told me that they were going to do exploration in the government camp Bokonjire area. And then we also talked about the road, and they assured me that they were going to do major road rehabilitation along that route. And the feedback from that area is that it's currently happening. They are along the road now doing major rehabilitation. We also believe that we still need to get on ground to follow up on other companies and try to understand what they are giving back to our people. There are some of them They promise building schools. We want to get there to see which type of school they are building. Some of them promise building city hall, town hall. We want to get there and see which type of city hall and town hall they're building. So the caucus is saying that during this vacation, we can make some rounds. We can go from one district to another, interact with these guys who are on ground with their companies, and try to understand what their commitment to our people and why is it they've done and why is it they have oversighted, and how we can make sure that they and our people can renew this agreement and get them starting to do what our people expect of them. That's the vision we are taking to the county.
Thank you. Let's get to national politics. You are in representative or you are a member of the CDC. CDC just got a new chairman. The Secretary General Jefferson Quejue was out making what other people may look at as threatening remarks. How is the CDC, and was Mr. Quejue speaking for the CDC or himself?
This, you have to please. Why I say you just said? Please repeat.
Right. No. First of all, let me start with your party, CDC. CDC just got a new chairman. Chairman Molu resigned. How is the CDC doing? You know, coming from ruling party to opposition, that's a change. How are you guys handling that?
Well, the CDC remain a formidable opposition within the length and breadth of Liberia. Is the party that the Liberians still think they can look up to within these 6 years. The CDC remain the only party that they expect to remain the voice of the people. And yes, we got some changes within our structure. Again, it has always been like that for every other party. So it's not strange. It's something that is part of the political process. I'm with the CDC. I was elected on the ticket of the CDC, and currently at the level of the caucus, I was again re-elected to serve as the secretary for the CDC Legislative Caucus. I know that we just got Honorable Jangako as the chairman. The reality is we saw a committed and delegated personality exiting as chairman, Honorable Mobake Molu, who in fact took us to elections in 2020, in 2023. He had been a kind of an exceptional person, very committed, visionary politician. He has a whole lot of good marks, great accomplishment. Then again, we saw another outstanding, hard-earned record person succeeding him, who is Honorable Jangako. So I think CDC, with the presence of Honorable Jangako, there is a lot more that we can achieve. And the caucus is very prepared to support the current leadership. We're going to work very closely with our standard bearer, His Excellency George Manning Wiah, making sure that the direction that can take us back to power, we start putting into place those strategies and exploring the necessary path that can take us back to leadership, national leadership as it relates to presidency and vice presidency. But the CDC, again, I can tell anybody, is the only party now that the Liberians think they can still look up to as we move through these 6 years. And they still believe that the CDC should remain that party that should be the voice of the oppositions as we move through these 6 years. So we expect that the CDC should be more energized, more venerated, more elated in speaking out and in championing the cause of the people as it relates to the basic social services that should be made available to them. Some of the things that we're doing better, some of the things that we're doing best, that perhaps will not be available to our people, those are things we should be speaking about. Leadership will come, leadership will go, but the Liberian people remain our major priority. And if, for instance, somebody is in leadership and they were overwhelmed or they oversighted what in fact should be available to our people, it is the responsibility of the opposition party to speak out. And that is the role that the CDC will be playing.
Thank you. You can adjust your camera a little bit. And someone who is playing that role now is the CDC Secretary and former Mayor Jefferson Quejue. Very recently, he was speaking, and I want you to take a listen.
Continue your safari. Don't be duped. Exhibition, we say to you, have no fear about them. The government is not Baka personal enterprise. The government is not Baka personal enterprise. We defy you any exhibition in this agency as temper wave to move in.
Right. So, Secretary Quejue said, if you tamper with any of our people, will move in. In fact, he said, anytime you are somewhere, anybody try it, just call. We're going to move there. He was talking really tough. Is he speaking for the CDC? Is he speaking for you?
Quejue as a voice is the more energized person, and is rightfully placed. Quejue is the Secretary General of CDC, and he comes with a lot of energy. He's not screens to the body politics of Liberia. He has one of the biggest crowd, and he will know how to appease his crowd whenever he's engaging the media. And I also believe that why it's true that Quejue is in the direction of saying, if you are after me, I will be after you. That also implies that he's calling on whoever that is in any corridor to remain peaceful while he remains peaceful. Because if there is no action from the other side, there will be no action from the side of the CDC. And in short, in a nutshell, I think what we are preaching is a peace for Liberia. And we think people do not misuse power, because the very power that we enjoy over the 6 years, we exerted peace. And the Liberian people had their will in conducting themselves during the elections. So after election, it will be a very bad thing for us to go after Liberians because they were on the other side.
So basically, Quejue is speaking for you and the CDC.
Quejue is the voice of the CDC, and I am a member of the CDC.
Thank you. Basically, what he's saying is like he's inciting the people that somebody is after you, and then we're going to move. It's like he has his own security. Don't forget, he's being placed on sanction for operating this kind of militia. Does that concern you?
We are discussing Liberian politics, and the voice you take to the table in discussing Liberian politics is not different from what Quejue is using.
Okay. Let's get to, we have a new government now, and they are in power. The new government is in power for almost 2 months now. And I know it's, even though you still have the speaker, so it's not complete. You still have some power, but how is the new government doing?
Well, they need to step out their games. They need to step out their games.
How so?
I know, sincerely from where I sit, if I should appraise this government, I will be appraising it after 12 months, because I know that there is nothing significant that we can achieve in the 100 days, owing to the fact that structure and restructuring is still the order of the day. And I also believe that there are deliverables that perhaps others will want to go for in measuring some of the outputs, some of the workings of this government. But let me caution everybody, 100 days will be less to measure the output, because if we should go to that deliverable, that very people will have a F. So we need to be patient. We need to follow them closely and make sure that we can have a appraisal system using that same deliverable after 12 months. And some of the reason will be inauguration took place around the 20th. We are yet to have a full cabinet. The budget that should be the only source of income in running the day-to-day activity of the government is yet to be passed. As we speak, the budget could not be received by the 55th legislature for discussion because it was massively delayed by the executive. A 692 million budget was received after we closed. And because of that, some of us think to go back for a discussion concerning that budget, it could take us at most 2 months. And if we should be taking 2 months, then the question would be, where are we with the 100-day deliverables? So arguably, we see 100 days deliverable getting F. And if we must even start looking for revenue to support the budget, then Liberians, all of us, we need to lower our expectation and be sincere in appraising our government at the end of 12 months. And then with sincerity, we can tell them where they perform well or where they lost, where they need to improve, and how collectively, in that spirit of coordination, we can make Liberia a better place for everybody. That's my view about them. Any other person can have their opinion, but that's what I think is going to be now in December.
And why you think the budget has been delayed?
That's the work of the executive, so I can speak to that. I know that they have a rest is a developmental plan that they needed to align with the budget, and I think we still arresting people, and we started arresting the budget.
So budget is arrested, and the cabinet is not fully formed, right? By this time, in 2018, I don't think President Wiah cabinet was also complete.
Again, every transition come with different
challenges,
different reaction. Every transition come with different reaction. So you will realize that in the case of this transition, it's about the brand. It's about the brand that you take to elections. It's about the campaign promises that you also take to elections. I think the brand that was taken to election, it was a brand that was giving our people immediate assurance, rescue. So that brand, psychologically, it has mesmerized our people to a point that the expectation cannot see the reality in just in just these days. And another thing I also believe is from the level of the executive, the cabinet, if they are not in full, the government will always underperform. Take for instance, at the inauguration, our president made pronouncement of a public health emergency, declaring just a public health emergency. And right there, we also saw our president putting into place a committee comprising of the health minister, the justice minister, the DEA head, and the list go on. All right, just being declared a public health.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you are just joining us, we are in conversation with District Number 2.
We now have a health minister. As we speak, the health minister is the only person sitting within the Ministry of Health. And we assume that she's responding to an emergency as it relates to the declaration made by our president. We don't have a deputy minister for administration to run all of those transactions. We don't have a deputy minister for health services who will be reviewing all of the requests and giving it approval for onward submission to a deputy minister for administration who will be authorizing all of those checks. We don't even have a deputy minister for planning who by now must have finalized a response plan for job response. So, I mean, the reality is just there. Things are stalled. Things are things are stalled because we don't have a full cabinet, all of our line ministry and agency. That's the reality. We need to step up our game. It affects all of us.
Yeah.
It affects all of us.
You just mentioned the inauguration, right? And during the inauguration, $5,000 was supposed to go to each district. We in District Number 2, did we get our 5,000?
Not to my knowledge. I know nothing about it. And not to my knowledge.
Did you try to find out?
Well, I only learned that Unity Party received money, and that money was transacted in Greenville. I have no idea about the district.
Right. If you can, please find out, because I want to see whether some got to Jacob Carter in Dudwicken.
No, not to my knowledge. I know nothing about it.
Quite recently, the House had a resolution on war crimes court.
Okay.
Did you vote to have war crimes court? Why? Or
Oh,
why
I supported that resolution. There is a generation that was greatly affected by the war. You know, I saw myself as a child, 1990, going to 4th grade, and the war came. We were denied education. We went home. We lived there with our people in Jiripo for over 5 years. When we returned, we heard of other friends who suffered the massacre, other parents who suffered the massacre. And we believe that, well, it's about time that we can set the record straight. We think this very generation that suffered the war is the same generation that is now making sure that we have peace all around Liberia. And we believe that to have a better future, this is the time that the record should be set straight. The issue of genocide, the issue of rape, the issue that has to do with embezzlement of public funds. We think we need to curtail all of that, and that's why we think we must the War and Economic Crime Code establishment. We believe that is the means through which Liberia can have a future that can be guided, that can be protected, and a future that can look back and answer the question of yes, we have some mistakes, but we need to make correction and move on.
So what does that resolution mean? And what are the next steps?
All right, so the resolution that was worked on was a resolution that is agreeing that indeed we've advocated for the establishment of War and Economic Crime Code, but to get it established, it starts with the legislature. So the legislature now is saying, well, this resolution hereby agree that there is a willingness among legislators for the War and Economic Crime Code to be established. And if we can have a concurrence, the rest of the architecture is what we'll be looking into for Liberia to have that code established.
So what should we be expecting now? District number 2, Dodolican was burned down. So what should we be looking forward to as far as War Crime Code is concerned?
Yeah, there were perpetrators. They are still around here. We know that they are on record.
So should we expect?
All of that was archived.
Should we expect
the records are there, and all of what was archived will be revisited, and those perpetrators brought to justice.
Are you hopeful we're going to have War Crimes Court, and the legislators going to do their best to ensure that we have this court?
We have the numbers. There's a willingness, and you can rest assured that the steps will be followed, and nobody will be intimidated. People will be given their respect, and whatever that can lead to having that code established will be done under this 55th legislature.
Let me also tell you that is the legislators aware of what is going on with Liberians at Camp Buduburam, the Buduburam refugee camp? Yesterday, I had a camp leader here who showed us the desperate need that Liberians over there are going through. Are you aware?
Yeah, the Buduburam camp situation. No, in the 54th, I had a communication on the floor when it was announced that the camp was going to be demolished. And I also know that in the 54th, the then Foreign Affairs Minister, the heads of the LRRC were all invited. As it relates to this current situation, the executive found out that in fact they were doing everything to make sure that the situation remained calm. There was a press release from the President of the Republic of Liberia, His Excellency Ambassador Joseph Nyima Boaka, assuring the Liberian populace that indeed they are aware of the situation. They were doing to ensure that they calm the situation. So yes, you are right, and it's good that you can bring this up. What perhaps we need to follow now is to understand the extent to which the president and his cabinet are acting on that press release that he had released some 1 or 2 weeks ago. That is something we follow up.
It's been almost 2 weeks. It's been almost 2 weeks, and the people are sleeping outside. They have I interviewed them yesterday. You have 400 in one room, 7,000 in the school. Some of them are even sleeping in the open rain, and nobody, the government of Liberia is not saying anything. Will it be prudent for the House to invite these people to to see what they are doing for our fellow citizens.
You've made a very good point, and we're going to act on that. We make sure that the agenda, again, the legislature is closed, but we take that discussion to leadership on Monday, because leadership is now in charge of the building. So we take that discussion to leadership on Monday, and we invite the requisite line ministry and agency to come and provide us clear information on what is obtaining.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, this is focused on Liberia. My guest, Honorable Samson Quejue Wiah. He's the representative of District Number 2 in Sinoe County. That is my district. And if you want to take part, we don't have much time left. Please call the number that's on your screen. That's 605-313-6004. The code is 791-403#. We have Jackson Slewinger here. He says he's following you from Greenville. Rufus Wisa say, I'm glad you know the challenges our people face with in the district. You guys can never change our people's sad story to modernized civilization. Emmanuel Bro say, Representative Samson, I attended and graduated from the Sinoe High School in 1981, but I'm concerned about the CNE High School in Greenville. Is it still in existence? We used to call it Children Never Eat Cassava. Is it still there? NGM Wiah say, the people down to earth leader of District Number 2, Sinoe County. Mohammed Connor say, my man, don't fool yourself. CDC is nowhere coming back. Emmanuel also agreed with Secretary Quejue that what he said to the government is in place. Your reaction to those comments, if you have any?
Yeah, sorry, we just had a break because there was somebody who again came in with call.
Oh, okay.
So basically, those comments,
Right.
I was not key on them because the call cut us off.
Emmanuel Bro is asking for the CNE High School in Sinoe in Greenville. Is it still there?
You said the CNE High School?
CNEC High School.
I actually I know of the Perry High, the St. Joseph Catholic, Sinoe High, and the Tibet High School to be situated in Greenville. There are other high schools like the Drill Central High School in Dubé River. I know of the high school in Dodwicken that is being elevated, is I think around 10th grade or so. And I don't know about high school in the Johnson Bell. I will not know what the CNE is.
Emmanuel graduated from Sinoe in 1981, so that was old days. So you may not know. The school may not exist. Jackson Slewinger is following you from Greenville. He said. Mohammed said the CDC is not coming back, so you have to forget it. But we don't have calls here. That's all the time we have. I don't want to keep you too long because we want to invite you back. Let me get your conclusion, your closing comments, and then we can draw down the curtains. Again, thank you so much for coming.
Again, I mean, this is our first appearance on the Focus on Liberia. I'm very glad that a king's man can be in such a media initiative, one of the best online platforms. We encourage you to do more. We also want to extend our thanks and appreciation to all of our followers. And we believe that we are in the legislature mainly to represent the people of District Number 2. Fight will be what we can take to our people, what they can benefit, and what can transform that part of Liberia. We say thank you to everybody, and let God bless all of us. Thank you very much.
Thank you for also coming. Join me today at on top of at 7 p.m. We're going to be discussing Ramadan. Imam Jenica M. Toure will be my guest. We want to talk about the purpose of Ramadan, what Ramadan is all about. and some of the criticism against Ramadan and what the Imam is going to say. So you don't want to miss it. It's going to be informational. Also at 4 p.m., we're going to have on point political debate. Again, Honorable Wiah, we want to say thank you. We want to say thanks to our viewers. We never close a broadcast here without playing our song that says, "We are all Liberians." Whether you are from District 2 in Sinoe, District 1 in Nimba, District 5 in Lofa, we are all Liberians. What is incumbent upon all of us is to do our very best to make our country the glorious land of liberty. Have a good day, and God bless you.
We are
Thank you very much.
Liberia is our